Right, it's up. Now, I hope my screen is being presented. Okay, okay. 10:31. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, great. Let's start. Hey, first of all, good morning. Thank you for coming. And so I have a couple of agendas for today. Uh, I will talk about so since since there are people who are also positional enthusiasts and not just short-term swing enthusiasts. So I thought I would start also more now speaking about how to pick stocks for long-term, if not long-term, but at least positional, 9 months, 2 years kind of a time frame, and discuss where is the best time in a stock where you can position yourself if you are a trader with that kind of time frame. That is one. So basically how to screen and for long-term positional play using technical analysis. The second topic I will touch upon is about watch lists. Okay, and the third one we'll discuss a little bit about risk management. Risk management will be just a touch up because I really want to have an entire week, month talking about risk management, and that will not be finished today. So we'll start. Okay, I will not talk about breath and stuff because I already finished that on Friday's video, so that I have more time discussing about some other things. Well, okay. So for a long term, for a positional kind of entry, what is generally good is to only see stocks in a weekly time frame. Okay, let me clean my chart first. So what happens is, like life, everything is cyclical. Which means that stocks are also cyclical. They have in a weekly longer time frame, they have four stages. One is a downtrend, one is a stage, so down. So we'll start with stage one. Let me pull out one chart for just for reference. Let's say IEX. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Okay, these are the four major stages. Stage 1, what happens there? Accumulation happens. Basically, people with more money sort of buy the stock and don't let the stock fall more, right? Obviously, why IEX in this case is not falling beyond 130, 128 is because now the balance between supply and demand is in an equilibrium. Okay, and that is why it stopped falling. So once this kind of a selling happens, once this kind of a buying happens, it will be sort of visible, in the volumes as well. Once this people with money start finish their buying and they know that they have accumulated enough shares, um, and wherein like the supply gets exhausted more and more, and then this kind of a move starts, that is called the stage 2 up move. Okay, and at some point of time, people who bought here at around 120, 130 levels will be in a huge profit, 100%, 200%, 500, I don't know how much, but they will definitely be in profit. And sometime somewhere here or beyond that, I don't know where that is, but after some months of stage 2, people start to sell their stuff. So exactly what happened here, for example, if we go by the previous chart, this was the stage 1 accumulation phase. This was the stage 2 markup phase. There was a small stage 3. So this was a stage 3 base. Uh, Started off like a symmetrical triangle. Symmetrical triangle broke down, and then it formed like sort of a double top. Uh, and in stage 3, what happens? People, whoever bought there, will sell you. That will also be very much readable in the volumes. And once they have finished selling, and then the retail selling starts here. People who bought here thinking that, oh, IEX will now become 2000 from 2400, they will lose hope, because see, it's all about supply and demand. If there is more supply then demand, if the buyers are not here, obviously, which will not be, because they've already juiced out this, and then there will come the stage 4 downtrend. Okay, so this 4 cycle will go on and on and on and on and on. The only difference could be, in some places the stage 3 will be very long or very short. In some cases the stage 1 will be very long, very short. In some cases the stage 3 will not be as prominent as what we see in some other stocks. But be assured that these 4 stage will come up in some way or form. Now, if you are a positional trader, which means that you want to hold things for 6 months, 2 years, more than 6 months to 3 years or so, then it doesn't make sense for you to buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here, right? So you want to buy somewhere here, load it up, and then ride the whole stage 2. Okay, so uh, so how do you do that, right? So basically, one of the most simplest way to do that is just to see, or is just to understand what is the trend. So trend is basically a stock which is forming higher high pivots and higher low pivots. That will be in an uptrend. And if it is forming a lower high lower low pivots, that would be in a downtrend. If the high low pivots are in the same region, that will be basing, right? So in this case, IEX is just trying to get out of the stage 1 base, right? So for example, this was the high, this is the low. The next subsequent high after that is also a high similar to that previous region. Next low is also similar to the previous region. So now this is called basing. Basing means sideways. Here what happened, there was a base breakout. Okay, and then stock is now again sort of trying to go sideways. Now, in this case, we are still not sure that IEX, what it's gonna do. IEX could now do something like this, you know, and only very slowly come out of the stage 1. In which case, then you will probably see ascending channel like this, and good to add at the base of the channel. But it can also fall, in the sense that this small poke could also be just trapping more people, and then the stock might eventually break down. Okay, so the first few weeks of the trend change, if the signals are not entirely clear from the volumes, can be very tricky, right? And that's why there is a high chance, there is a little risk. I mean, see, the thing is, there is risk reward in both, right? So if you happen to position yourself here, then you will get a better deal. You will be buying at 150 levels. If you, okay, at which point of time you will be sure that IEX has changed the trend? That would be when IEX go above this level, which is 175. Why? Because this is the weekly pivot. So low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Now the high before this high is actually this one, right? So only when this high gets crossed above, we will for sure say that, hey, IEX has confirmed been in a stage, has broke out of a stage 1 base. But a little riskier confirmation is coming after the breakout of this pivot, right? So again, this is your personal choice. You can start building positions here, or you can wait here, because the thing is, if indeed IEX is going to do something like a move like this, getting in here or getting in here will not make much of a difference, right? So that's the point here. Everything in stock market or in life which you do will have pros and cons. There is not a strategy which will cater to all of our needs. Okay, as a swing trader, my strategies has a lot of um, disadvantages, as long-term traders will have their own disadvantages. So it's a mix and match, what works for you, what doesn't. But today what I wanted to share is basically, yeah, that strategy, right? So uh, So yeah, I mean, the breakout of this high could have been a start of a new position, right? And so when you are a positional trader, you can actually have a strategy wherein you don't go jump all in. Let's say you want to invest 100 rupees in IEX, right? You don't have to buy all 100 rupees worth of share here. What you can do is, when the stock now actually has proved itself, so for example, let's say the stock has done something like this, and got a resistance below उसको, and then it made a pullback, and then it eventually broke down. If let's say if this sort of action plays out, you will have many points for you to buy the whole 100 rupees. So this is basically averaging up, right? Averaging up as the stock prove itself that, hey, whatever I anticipated and bought little 25 rupees here, thinking that the stock will actually go up, is actually happening. So then your conviction on the stock will also increase, purely from technical standpoint. I'm not talking about the fundamental standpoint, but purely by the technical standpoint, your conviction will also increase as the stock works. So you might have a point here to buy, or you might have you can also add when it's breaking out from the actual higher time frame pivot, right? So that is one thing which you can do if you are playing positional strategies. Okay, so there are two scanners, or actually one scanner which you can run. That's the I'll send the scanner, but the scanner is basically called a stage 2 breakout. S2BO. So it will not it will scan only the stocks which are now going out and breaking into the stage 2. This is 21 stocks. This is not all the stages in all the stocks in stage 2, but the ones which are breaking out. Okay, so there's a difference. So then let's go through a couple of names and see if it catches the stocks at the right moment, and if those places are actually some place where you can actually buy. So see, Nat Biogenes. If you see the pivot, like if you don't know how to mark the pivot, what I will say is there are two indicators which you can use. So one is this called ILM structured pivot by I Love Markets. This is also, I believe, the pivot which Madan, the 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 options guy used. So in here, he will clearly it will clearly mark. So in this case, you see this is the larger time frame PH money, I think, pivot high. So larger pivot high, right? So it's clear that this will be, there is no ambiguity if you use this kind of indicator. So once this pivot high has been taken out, then you can make an entry. Remember, all I'm discussing right now is for positional guys, right? Not for swing. I mean, if it's swing, then you can also buy this pivot high, because this would be a place where you are buying before the actual breakout, where positional players will see. And naturally, what will happen is if you buy here, you will have a lesser stop loss, and if you buy above the actual pivot, you will have a little higher stop loss. Okay, you might also want to have a stop loss here, because sometimes this stop loss might be taken out, which is actually for not suitable for swing traders. Now, right, so if you don't want to have so many lines on your chart, a simple indicator is also available from TradingView itself. So it's called the high-low indicator, high-low pivot indicator. And in this case, what you can do is you can change the pivot, the timings, or this to 5, and then it will also give you so you see here, so this is the pivot high for now, and this is also the same pivot high which the other indicator also marked, right? So it will not put lines, but it will put numbers. So you'll see, okay, it's saying 185.15, so let's say 1% above 185.15 is where I'm going to put my GTT if I really like Nat Bio genes, right? So that is the kind of ease with which you can make an entry. So now this guy also caught by the scanner. This guy is now actually in a stage is probably resuming the uptrend. See, Same principles apply in all time frames as well, right? So when we discuss about triple B scanner and the flag trading strategies, this is also a flag in a higher time frame, like not exactly a flag, but like a flag. It has a prior uptrend, and it has a mast which is probably shaped like a uh, which is the downtrending channel, right? And so this is the channel breakout happen. Now let's see what is the Newland Lab. So Newland Lab is also doing the same thing, but in a daily time frame. You see what I mean? So this is what Newland Lab is also doing. So markets are fractal. If you know how to exploit one structure of the market, that exploitation can be done in different time frames as well. You can exploit this in 5 minutes time frame, 1 minute time frame as well. But again, your speed of how you act, where you put your stop losses, those things will differ, right? So in this case, again, so right now the market is a little bit probably extended, and it can do, again, you see what happens after breakout. After breakout there comes a retest, so something like this might happen, right? And then once it starts going, then you can entry wherever you want and put your stop loss here. That will give you a huge that will give you a very nice spot. So 12% if it moves even 50%, the risk to reward is basically 4 times, right? So that's not a bad deal. So let's go and check out a couple of names. So Mastech, you see, pivot breakout happened. So this was the stage one base. Now in a higher time frame, the stage one base will only break out here. So if you want to wait for confirmation, you can wait here, but if you don't want to wait for confirmation, you could have entered here. So the trade-off is basically, if you want confirmation, you will not get the best price which you want as a value investor. But if you want a confirmation, or if you want a best price, then you might also have a failed breakout, right? So again, like I said, no strategy will cater to all of your needs in trading, and that also goes well with life. You have to strike a balance. So if you don't know where to put the pivots, here 179.49 you could have put a pivot according the pivot low high. Sometimes the other indicator will probably put it here, but again, both of them are like not zameen asman ka difference. You can use anything, right? So and now if you see Mastech in daily, you could have seen a flag and traded this, right? Yeah, so here you see, and then there was volatility contraction here, like amazing. Oh my god, this is peak. I love this. 1 7.8%, 2 3.2%. 3.2% is already a great place to, for you to put your GTT. So if you put a GTT above 1774, your stop loss would have gone below this 1706, right? So then the third contraction came even lesser than the previous one, -3, -2, and then once this guy broke out, small contraction again, and then boom. So see, what I'm trying to do is like talk about various strategies and how everything stitches together into a greater understanding about how the market works. Let's move on. How are we doing with time? Okay. Birla Soft. Let's go to the weekly time frame because that is the time frame. So now you see Birla Soft is breaking out of the weekly pivot here. Here, see, this was the daily pivot, small time frame pivot, and this is a weekly pivot, right? So now it's a great time to enter here. You could actually, if you don't want to put a very deep stop loss, then you can actually put a 4%. You could have put a 4% stop loss. So volumes confirming. So always look out for volumes whenever there is a breakout. When there is volume accompanying that, you know that this volume is not chindi. Like this volume is probably big players who now actually find value in the stock. So the first leg of accumulation happened here clearly. 1 2 3 4 5 green candles. Every other candle is bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there was still selling pressure which got absorbed. This selling is lower than the selling here. Why? How can you tell? Because of the amount of volumes, which means that the supply which started here finished, almost finished, right? And then not just a little bit of buying, but a lot of buying also happened, which gives you extra confirmation that hey, Birla Soft may supply is getting exhausted, plus buying is also coming. So now when the buying is increasing more and more, at the same time supply decreasing, what happens? Imagine what will happen to mango prices when we ascend to autumn, and mangoes in the market will become less and less and less, but people still want to buy mangoes. Mango prices will go up, right? So this is very basic price action, supply demand, this one, right? Okay, so let's go a little. So see here, amazing. Like I might get into this, right? Because see, what is this? This is VCP. Like I just love VCP, and I want all of you guys to find VCP everywhere you look in trading. Okay, because this works. Nahar Industries, where is the pivot? This is the pivot if you want to buy. And again, like because most of you guys are also fundamental people, use this strategy to the stocks which you like fundamentally. That will even make it more better, uh, right? So another pivot would be just this high, and not wait for 122, right? Let's move on. Natco. See, Natco was a great place to actually buy here. Why? Because this was the pattern target of this head and shoulder. Okay, let me switch off the pivot high low. So this was a pattern target. So shoulder, head, shoulder. From the top to the neckline was minus 34%. From the breakdown, minus 34% is exactly from where this guy moved. Now, if I loved Natco Pharma fundamentally, I would have honestly bought it here, right? Because this is a confluence of fundamental and technical, right? Uh, so now how would you like to buy Natco? So first of all, there is a trend line breakout here. Trend line breakout can also be tested, right? So the same applies here. It might test and actually come back and make a double bottom, right? And when that double bottom is, let's say, forming, and you see that the volumes in the second bottom is actually lower than the first bottom, oh, that's a great signal for you to have an early entry. And remember, don't put all the 100 rupees, maybe 25 rupees, right? And where will you buy next? You will buy next when this guy is getting out of here, and that would be a peak breakout kind of an entry of a peak double bottom, right? More, where you want to buy? You can buy when this guy is crossing this pivot, which will be the actual high, weekly pivot in terms of a larger base breakout, right? So these are the things which you can do. uh, Carousel also came in the scanner, but I tweeted when these volumes were happening. You can go check my tweet. This volume doesn't mean shit. It means, of course, it means that a lot of big players are entering here. But again, what is big player? Big player will not have like money, the full money for all the supply to get exhausted. But yes, in my opinion, carousel will probably go up. But be wary when you are analyzing volume in a stock in a downtrend. Okay. Now, had these volumes come in when carousel was here, where let's say it made a double bottom base, and then made a small pullback, and then let's say this kind of volume appeared here. Let me mark that here. Then I would be so interested, because I know that the downtrend has been halted. The price has actually broken out of the downtrend. After the breakout, the price has again retested the downtrend, and now there is enormous volumes. This is peak. I mean, you have to then go probably not 25 rupees, but 50 rupees or whatever 100 rupees you wanted to buy, right? So these are the things you need to uh, uh, think about. Like there are various, not just one condition, not just one variable here, right? So this volume did not mean much because it was in a downtrend. It will take a lot of demand, a lot of money to get down, finish all the supply. And because also See, a good supply exhaustion में क्या होएगा? This downtrend will decrease at every subsequent this one. So from here top to bottom it was minus 47%, right? In here it was not much a decrease. Okay, so this down leg was minus 47%, this down leg was only minus 42%. Had it been, let's say, oh, minus 32, or like 60% or 50% of the first downtrend, then you know that okay, supply is getting exhausted and exhausted. So this was still yeah, if you had jumped in here thinking that okay, Carisil, see, sometimes what happens when you have a lot of fundamental bias in a company, this kind of decisions will be made, which I understand. You like Carisil, it's a fundamental amazing company, but also little bit try to put some technicals into it, and see this in from the lens of supply and demand. Chemplast, see what's happening in Chemplast, same thing, broke out of the descending channel and now retest. Great place to enter here or on the breakout here. Why I'm saying that? Because this downtrend, this downtrend can go and again retest the previous this one, and in which case it will look like a triple bottom, or a small inverse head and shoulder, or maybe a something like this, so, or maybe Chemplast Sanmar can go on in the downtrend, right? Okay, how are we doing with time? 10:57, right? Okay, so like that you will have lot of names. For example, Sonacom broke out of the weekly double bottom base, right? So this was the first place where you would have been okay. Hey, so this guy is breaking out of this long-term downtrend channel. Second peak place would be here. Oh, 480 previous pivot ko tod diya. See, 477.9 was the pivot, tod diya, right? And then it found resistance where resistance in the this line. It's called VWAP, volume weighted moving price, volume VWAP, right? So this is the place where it will find some support, some resistance, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna ये journey, it started its journey. Maximum कहाँ तक आएगा ये? Maximum यहाँ तक आएगा, right? And then you can easily buy it above these 2 points. These 2 points in daily would look like a double top. Maybe not. So I will stop right here. So that's all I had to say how to screen for long-term positional stuff. If you guys have more into this, we can chat in the discussion on the HPA, because I know that many people in the group are also keen positional traders. In fact, I on a raging bull market would want to buy the leaders and just stay put at least 50% of whatever money I have. So position strategy would work really well in a raging bull market. And speaking about raging bull market, what does it look like? I mean, I will not bet against this structure. Honestly, I will not bet against this structure. Prior uptrend, contraction 1, contraction 2. When there are 2 contraction, what is it? It's a cup and handle, So I will not bet. I mean, and this is how bull markets start. Bull markets start when nobody is expecting, right? I'm pretty sure many people did not expect this kind of a run from the bottom. Koto percent is this? 12%, not bad, right? So let's move on to watch lists, right? Watch lists. So I have a lot of watch lists because I like to track markets, and I like to see, and because I also do this, right? So I have to be on top. But as a trader or as a positional trader, so first thing, let's start by saying that how you maintain your watch list is very personal. If I give you a solid watch list making system, or a system of how to maintain watch list, it might not work for you. In fact, it might harm your process, right? Everything in market is very, very personal. Your system, your strategy. Okay, so always bear in mind that point, right? So now there are two kind of people. One who actually maintains watch list, and one group which doesn't. Maintaining watch lists is also a little taxing. Why? Let's say, for example, I have a watch list nearby. Okay, I don't watch this now, but this is something I used to have at some point of time. So let's say I have 10 names. Let's go to daily now. So probably I would have put this guy here somewhere because it was near the buy. Near the buy. Avi, I did not get in here. After 5 days when the stock ran, I will go and see all my stocks watch list nearby. Okay. The ones which I did not get in have run out. Okay, that is a little psychologically not good for me. Maybe you are fine. Maybe you have developed a psychology already saying that, hey, I will have 15 different names, and it's okay. I cannot catch all 15. I'll catch only two, and the rest 13 is fine for me, right? So, but for someone else, that psychology might not work, and that's why having a watch list here might not. But again, if you are someone who stocks the, I will not use the word quote, but who stocks their stock every day, for them, a watch list like this would be very interesting and very helpful, because then they will know that, okay, I saw the stock on 11th May, it's here, it's getting near my buy price. Let's say his buy price is here because this is the pivot. Then they will see here, oh, it's looking better, or this, I could have made an entry here, maybe he's missed it, and then when this happens, he will finally make an entry. So if you are not someone who cannot go through the list every day, I mean, if you are trading on a daily, if you are trading on weekly, if you cannot go through the list every week, then what's the point of having that list? Now again, the second problem is, how many lists do you have? You should have a list which is not taxing on your mental side of things, and something which you can manage, right? So for me right now, since I'm developing my this one, the triple B, I just look I just look at the triple B names, and since I also love high tide flag, I just look at the high tide flag names, and then I sort of mark them, right? Like, okay, this markings are names which I really like. So every day I will obviously see the new names, but I will also go through and see, okay, what this guy is doing. Is this guy ready? And if I like something very much, and if I have cash for that, I will put a GTT, right? Or if not, then I will just buy it when it is when I think the right moment to buy the stock is. Sometimes I'm mostly invested 90 to 100%. So, and if all of my stocks are doing really well, then there is no real need for me to go and look at the watch list, honestly, because the names which I'm already in are all already doing good. Stop losses are not hit, and so I'm fine. So, like I said, your watch list making is very personal. You should do what suits you, and these are the various things which you can do. So if you have a great scanner, which once you click run, it will give you the names which are ready to buy, then in that case you might not need a watch list. And I'm sure there are people who want that kind of a lifestyle. Okay, like, let me take a new trade, morning utha subah 9:15, click run, 15 trades, go through quickly, I like this one, buy, and then forget about rest, and then manage whatever you've bought, right? So that's a very good strategy. So that's all I had to say about watchlist. And the last one I want to chat about before opening up for questions is risk management. Now, risk management is something which I cannot talk to you guys in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And the point that I made, that everything in trading and life is personal, also applies to risk management, right? But in general, what I can tell you is that uh, risk management, so as a swing trader, I view risk management very tightly. And let me find that let me find a presentation which okay, yeah. Right. So So this is a framework which I use to think about risk management, right? So that is a 4 quadrant framework to manage risk. So because I am a swing trader, the way I think, at least in the short term, and not say in a bull market, when I know that even in bull market it's fine. So you can always think about multiples of risk, R, which people say, right? R. So always think about multiples of risk. So for example, you you can think this in terms of the percentage. Let's say you bought a stock at 100 and your stop loss is 10, then your stop loss is 10%. Even better to think about risk is depending on your portfolio. So for example, if you had 100 rupees, and if you are buying, if you have 100 rupees, you are buying shares worth of 100 with a stop loss at 9. So your risk to the total portfolio is actually 1 rupee, which translate to 1% of your total capital, which is 100 rupees, right? So 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 always think about risk in terms of percentage risk on your portfolio, and if that happens, no, then it becomes very easy in the mind, because it doesn't matter sometimes you have a tight stop loss of 2%, or it doesn't matter sometimes when you have a very wide stop loss of 20%, right? Because with both of these stop loss, depending upon how many stocks you are actually buying, your risk on the portfolio could be 1%, right? So then this actual number, which is the actual price of the stop loss, will not matter, because stop loss अगर 2% पे hit हुआ या 24% पे hit हुआ, your total money you will lose in terms of your portfolio is just 1 or less than 1 or 0.5 or 2 if you guys are big risk takers, right? So now, once this is understood, now think about your positions or your risk management in terms of this. So you have 4 quadrant. One is small, big, and one is loss and gain, right? So the first and foremost, uh, uh, your priority should be to avoid a big loss, right? So let's say a big loss would be a loss more than 1%. In terms of swing trading, a loss more than 1% is a very big loss. May not be for people who are long term, but for me, I don't want to lose more than 1% of my entire portfolio in one trade, right? So then what I will do is I will draw a line in the sand. For example, let's say RVNL. Let's say if I tomorrow enter RVNL, let's say the entry position is, or let's say I am already in here. I will draw a line in the sand कि 110 से नीचे अगर जाएगा, then I'll probably sell it. And according to this, then I will see how many stocks I can buy, so that my total risk will not exceed 1%. So that way I have made sure that if RVNL does something crazy like this, then I will be out here, and I will not hold it in a drawdown of I don't know how much that would be. 7 into 7 3 is 21, 3.5%, right? So my portfolio, if this guy comes here, will be shaved off by 3.5%. I don't want that. I want him max 8% lele bhai. I will put a hard stop here. Then, and that is been taken care of by SL. Now, then the next priority, once you've done this, is to either take a small loss or take a small gain. Small gain bhi chalega, right? So how you do this is by selling into strength. So for example, let's say if now let's say your stop was 7%, let's say 7%, you entered here. Now when RVNL goes to a multiple of your risk, that could be 1x. If that is the case, then 7.5%, 7.19% would be your 1x. Money, you risked 8 rupees and you are now 8 rupees in profit, right? You might want to take some off here, okay? Now you might also want to take some, or you might decide ki no, I will take off some at 2%, right? And that would be when RVNL reaches 135. or you say no, 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 3x तो चाहिए मेरे को 1x risk में, right? And that would be around the previous high. Now, how to decide this 1x or 2x or 3x? Now, this is very personal. Now, I cannot tell you कि अरे bro 1x बढ़िया होएगा और 2x बढ़िया होएगा और 3x बढ़िया होएगा. This depends on two factors. One, how is the market going? If the market is choppy, right? If the market is choppy, 3x will never come. Before coming 3x, it will come back and take your stop loss because the market is choppy, volatility is high. So probably in those kind of environment, taking a 1:2 is not bad, right? At least 1:2, 1:1.5 तो होना चाहिए, or else then you are a day trader almost. Then you will have to work on you will have to have a higher batting average. But if you have a batting average around 1.5, sorry, 50%, which means out of 10 trades, five of them are working, so they at least go for 2 times the risk, right? So once it reaches, let's say 2 times is what works for you. Let's say once it reaches 2 times the risk, what you have to do is you have to make sure you either gain small or lose small. So how do you do that? Once it happens, you can say that I now don't want to lose any profit or any capital in this, and then you put your stop loss into your buying price. Okay, so this makes sure that you will have a very small loss, which will be like the taxes, whatever, right? Now, if you want to do is that no, I want to have a small gain in this position already. I want to make sure that I'm getting some money out of RBNL when it reaches here. So what you do is, let's say you decide to sell some on strength, and that sum again will be a fraction of what your total number of shares is. Like if you had bought 100 shares, sell 25, sell 50, one fourth, half. And once that happens, then what you can do is you can then say that okay, even if RBNL comes back, I will want to give him a little bit more time so that it will work eventually. Then you, even if you don't move your stop loss above from the original buy price, you will still make a small gain. Why? Because you have already, in 50% of the position, you've already gained twice, and other 50 you will lose half, 1x. So that means 1x you're still making, right? If you want to do even better, then maybe you say, okay, once I sell 25% or 50% or one third, then I'll place the stop loss. Now this position is making sure that RVNL trade is not going to the loss column, it is definitely going to the gain column. Now the last one, obviously everyone needs, is that I want to ride this guy till the end of times, right? So in that case, what you do is you use a trailing stop loss, and trailing stop loss would be something which you like, which that it works for you, your psychology. For some people that is a moving average. For short-term traders, the moving average is mostly 10 MA or 21 MA. For a long positional trader, that MA can be 50. For ultra long-term investors, it could be 200, right? I Like I said, I generally like the super trend 2-3. Depends. I can also use sometimes moving average and so on. So that was the gist of how to manage risk, and this is just one way. Okay, there are so many different ways to manage risk, but this is the basic framework on which you can build your own personalized system of risk management. Great. So now I will open up the things to questions. We still have 15 minutes, so it's a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, I have the microphones are on. If you guys have any questions, let's go. Hi, Anil. Hi, Anil. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have posted in the chat box two questions. Like one, not by you told that it is, how we can say that the all supplies absorbed.
How can we say all supply is absorbed if pivot is
Pivot is tested, the pivot low. Suppose once it makes the pivot low.
right. So the another,
Second question is
what is meant by
what is
fractal?
meant by fractal?
Right. So fractal. Let me first tell you what fractal means. So fractal means any shape which will occur in all time frames. Okay. So like for example a flag, right? So whoa. Just a minute. Array, where is it? So let's go to a 5-minute time frame. So in 5-minute time frame, so let's say this kind of a pattern, people will call it. So this is a volatility contraction pattern. Can you see this, Anil? Can you see the?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is a VCP, right? So there is contraction 1, contraction 2, contraction 3, and uske baad then what comes after contraction? There comes expansion. So price expanded towards the upside. So this and this is also a flag. So this is a pattern which will repeat even in a 1-minute time frame. So this is a higher high, higher low structure, which is a structure of a basic uptrend. So this is what I mean by fractality of the market, which means that any shape which occurs in any time frame in the market, it will also occur in other time frames, and it will also have the same amount of implications, right? So in this case, Olectra, in 1-minute time frame, it is saying it is an uptrend. So that means that it's an uptrend in a 1-minute time frame. समझ रहे हो? And that would also mean a higher high, higher low structure would also mean the same thing in a monthly time frame. So in a monthly time frame, this is also in a in an uptrend. So that's what I mean by fractals. So a cup and handle you will see in a daily time frame as well, in any other time frame as well. So what your next question was, how can we say all the supply is absorbed is pivot is tested? Okay, so
Math by you told, no?
Nath bio, let's go to weekly. So what did I say here? Did I say that supply is finished?
You told some pivot is made and it is retested.
Yeah. So if you can see, this is a downtrending line. Right? Did I say it in Nath bio? Probably. So what I mean here is that the stock Nath bio was in a stage 4 decline. Agree? This was a stage 4 decline.
Yes.
And now what I'm trying to say is that the stock is undergoing a change of character. Change of character how? Because it has changed its character from a downtrending stock to a stock which is probably starting to base in a stage 1 base. Okay, so then I said that, okay, so what is this candle did? This candle did a breakout of the channel, right, which is a downtrending channel. Now you also know that after every breakout there is a high possibility, or let's say 50-50 possibility depending upon the market condition, that it will retest the channel breakout, right? So then which point will be the retest point? It will be the channel here or here or here, or could be here, right? So this line. Now when I said that, I'm saying is that you wouldn't know unless that is going to happen. So a scenario in my mind is that this is a possibility of happening. If it comes back, tests this place, and then if this happens, I will show you how it looks like in an actual graph where this happened. It will look like to me that it is a double bottom base. This would be the bottom one, and then this would be the second bottom. And you will know that this second bottom is good, because when this bottom is happening, the volumes which will be printed down would be lesser than what when than the volumes which are here. Anil, are you following me?
Yeah, yeah.
And in that case, I will be very sure that the supply is almost absorbed or exhausted, and even a little bit of demand or buying will then move this guy up. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say when, and that's also how you know supply is absorbed. Now, what is the example I will show where that happened already? We've already discussed that stage 2 breakout. See, Birla Soft. What happened? This was this first low, second low. Dekh rahe ho what happened when the second low was making? What happened to the supply? The supply got smaller and smaller and smaller, and now the breakout is there. Similar things you will also probably see in Sonacoms. Whatever supply was here, when this second downtrend was coming to make the second head, you see volumes almost finished, and after that when this uptrend was coming, you see more green towers coming in. So a confluence of volume, trend line, pivots can be used to say that hey, something like this is good. And the same thing I also said in carousel, right? So in carousel, now this volume, when this downtrend is coming, when the next downtrend, when this, I don't know if it will go out from here or reach here, because this is also a pivot, this is the previous low. It might reverse from here, or it might also come back and test the previous bottom. That would now again look like a double bottom. Now when this happens, the volumes I would want to be lesser than this guy. Only then I know that hey, supply khatam ho raha hai, finish ho raha hai, right? So this is basic price volume action.
Okay.
Right. Who has any more questions? For mean fractal, please review Patel engineering chart. I will, Shubham. In the Substack article, you mentioned stop loss below the checkout low, below the previous low, below the daily low. What do you mean low here? What do you mean by the lowest here? So for that, let's go to a trade which I actually took. Um, Jane irrigation, right? So Jane irrigation, I entered. Mm, okay, so I entered on this day probably. So on this day, then what I will see is, let's say, okay, just a minute. Where is my 21 EMA? So, let's say if my entry is on this day, because it has come on the scanner, so I will see that where is the low? The 21-day EMA is here, 38.3. Where is the shakeout low? The shakeout low is here, because this was the shakeout. जो shook out people who had a 21-day ka thingy. So this is the low, right? So then I will see 38.3, 37. Which one is lower? 37.3 is lower. Sorry, 37 is lower, right? So then my stop loss will go below that. So had I entered here, my stop loss would be -7, minus some percent. And that would also looks good, because I generally like super trend 2 or 3 as my stop loss. Uh, I like in closing basis, but I'm forward testing it, so I will have it as hard stops now. But that's what I meant by that, Anup. I hope this is clear.
Okay. Yes.
Thanks. Shubham, let's go and look at Patel. So Patel Engineering is a peak high tide flag. Okay. When I say peak, it's really peak. What's happened here is we have a up move of almost 100%. Nope, more than 100%. Right. So from the base of this pole, non-stop 100%, which means that people like that the big investors, they really like it, and they have been accumulating it all through. ऐसा नहीं है कि they just bought here and they did not buy. These candles are made by them only, right? Now they are giving it a rest, thinking, okay, let's hold on, because then we don't want the stock to go so high. Let's get some more weak hands out, let's accumulate more. So in this case, this is basically accumulation going on, because this is VCP characteristics. The first downtrend is minus 18, second one right now is 15. Now this can always where is it, right? So this can, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि it will come and retest the previous low, but it would still be a good VCP. Why? Because minus 18 say minus 10, it's almost 60% or so, right? So if the contractions are within the range of 45 to 60%, is still good. But if it doesn't do that, and let's say the price comes like this and then again does this, this is peak, because you know that there is a third contraction coming, and which is even less. So you will actually have a stop loss which is around 3 to 4%. And generally, why I like high tide flags and why they are also my prime instruments to make money is you can now expect a rally which is just longer like the previous pole, right? So imagine how much you can make in terms of risk reward. 3% डाल के आपको अगर 84% मिल रहा है, तो just do the math, by risking 1 rupee you are making almost 30 some rupee probably. Wait, now if you risk, let's say, 4% and you make this much, you will make almost 20 rupee risking 1 rupee. So this is a very good trade. Now I'll show you very quickly an example where something like this actually happened. BSHB, BSBHI. There is a seed company. I forgot the name. BHS or something like that. BSH. ठीक है, जाने दो. I mean, people. बॉम्बे सुपर हाइब्रिड. हाँ, उसको कैसे लिखते हैं? BSH. Why is it not coming here? Bombay Super Hybrid.
Top it is coming.
BSH. So you see this was a peak high tide flag. Can you see this? %200%, and then VCP आया. VCP आया. Now if I show you Patel Engineering chart, it might be here like this. Same structure. Nice VCP. VCP का VCP. This was the entry, and then up move, another VCP. This is another VCP, guys. This is another VCP. This is 2T. T1, T2, minus 11, minus 4. This was another entry. Bam. So stocks move like this. When Bombay Super Hybrid was here, many people would have believed, अरे 41 से 120 भाग गया, और कितना भागेगा? Bro, भाग गया ना 600 तक. So and now it could be setting up in a bigger VCP. I don't know what this company does, why people like it so much, but I know that these structures will not lie. Minus 68, minus 36, almost around 50% above. If I get a contraction of half of this, 16%, 18%, I'm ready. So high red flags. A quick look at Olectra, please. Before doing that, let me close by Olectra chart. But before this, okay, we are also almost time. So I will take the last question as Olectra, and then we'll wrap up. So Olectra has actually broken out. Broken out, why? Because you see, in each contraction, you see the volumes. Okay, volumes small, 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 and volumes तो almost खत्म ही हो गए थे while it came during this contraction. And after that, you see, whenever VCB breaks out, there always has to be a volume, right? The volume will increase. All those things are fine. Now what can this guy do? So that's the question, right? So now let's go to a smaller time frame. Abhi, now what do you see? You see another flag. Don't tell me you don't see a flag and a VCB. So this is a 30-minute time frame. This is a time frame I like. Minus 4%, minus 4.4%. This is the second T. दो कैंडल में आ गया T, upper and lower pivot, minus 3. If you see anything below 2, it's okay, below 2, 1.5 or so, and then I expect that there is a breakout. This is an expectation, which this is an expectation, or not expectation, anticipation, right? And the anticipation is based on this structure. ऐसा नहीं है कि because I'm holding Olectra, I want Olectra to do this. This expectation is made by this kind of observation, and you see the volumes. After this up move, who wants to sell? No one wants to sell. After this small up move in the VCP, who wants to sell? No one wants to sell. So the natural tendency of the market is now would be to break out, right? And so if not, right, if ये breakout नहीं हुआ, then क्या होगा? Then the expectation would be for the price to do continue in this downtrending channel in the 30-minute time frame. And let's say it hits the mid of the bigger channel. Bigger channel किधर से आया है? ये bigger channel इधर से आया है. Bigger channel, because Olectra is also going and respecting this channel for now. If it doesn't break out, then it probably will come back and make a take support here. And if that happens, then probably the 1021 MA will also catch up, and then it will again make that this one. So now risk management, how does it come? For me, I have made up my mind that I want to trade this for long. I could have sold some here. Thanks. I could have sold some here, but somehow I didn't. Because see, market conditions are also favorable right now. Had it been like, okay, things are not looking good, not looking great, then I would have definitely sold some percent, 25, 50, I don't know. But right now, market conditions are also looking not great, but not like obviously post-COVID bull run, but okay, looking good. And the best thing is, it looks like it could even be better, right? So then in that case, I am willing to give Olectra some wiggle space, right, like this, and maybe in here. So see, as a trend follower, my logical stop is still this, which is the 10 to super trend. Uh, uh, so it is definitely extended, okay, for a swing trader it is definitely extended, but uh, I am trying to make a little bit of a positional kind of thing in Olectra. Now yes, one could have sold at 770, 780 and then again bought back at 734, but okay, ठीक है, नहीं करना मेरे को. No, so these are some of my thoughts, Rahul, if that's helpful. Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks.
Rahul. Okay, great. Okay, guys, we'll stop here. If nobody has questions, I wish you a great Sunday and see you later.
Thanks, Prakash.